All right, guys. Okay, let's get started. We are going to draw a very simple picture first, and then we'll start painting the background, and then finally only we're going to do the boat. Okay, have I talked to you guys about painting in layers? Okay, all right, let's talk about that today. So when we were painting the watermelon, we know that the watermelon is part of a background. So you remember this watermelon? So it's part of a background where the background doesn't have elements. The background only has color and texture. And the subject is really big. So we got away with painting both of them separately. We painted the background around the watermelon and then we finished the watermelon inside. Okay. So this same concept does not work for things like the clouds and the water. Or for example, if you're going to do background elements like mountains, trees, and all of that stuff. So for all of that, you have to layer one on top of the other. So we will actually completely finish the background with the sky, with the clouds and the water. We will let that layer dry. Then on top of that, we are going to place the boat. Okay, so it will be almost like drawing this and putting the boat on top and painting on top of it. So that way, what happens is any details you have in between the boat. So look for my orange mouse. Can you see this line in between the boat, this part of the sky? So that blend in the sky, that color change, all of that won't be something you have to figure out and paint in between. We didn't have those elements in the watermelon. Okay, so except for these small parts, these small holes here, there's no actual background between the watermelon that we had to figure out. So because of that, we're going to layer this picture, and we did not do that for the watermelon. Any questions on this so far?
How do you put the canvas?
How do you, oh, the canvas can be either way. You can do portrait or you can do landscape. It can be either way. Okay, so if you look at my paper and the picture we have, my landscape is a little short. Can you see that? I don't have more space. The picture, on the other hand, can you see above the boat, there's a lot of space in the top, and below the boat also there's a lot of space in the bottom. So if you can fit the boat will only have to be this small size if I have to have that gap in the top and the bottom. Can you see, Ishant? Can you understand what I'm saying? Ishant? Okay, all right, let me explain again. Actually, let me draw and show you guys. If I'm just gonna quickly draw, nobody has to draw, just watch. I'm just drawing a few waves here. So I'll make it darker so you guys can see what I'm drawing. So that's my waves. And then I've got my clouds here. This is just to show you size. And then I'm gonna draw my boat right there. Can you see the size of my boat is really small? I can't make the boat any bigger because I need that gap in the top and I need this gap in the bottom. If maybe I can make the boat just a little bigger like this. So if I want to, I can make that a little bigger, but it'll still be a small boat compared to the rest of my painting. If you like this, you can go with this setup. On the other hand, if you want it to look portrait, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to draw it in portrait. So for portrait, here is my water waves. Okay. And then I have my boat right here. Can you see how big my boat is? And then I can have clouds. So the boat has more, the boat looks bigger here. And because of that, you can draw it this way. So it depends on how big you want your boat and how you want to showcase your drawing. Okay, I'm going to make this boat slightly bigger because it can be bigger. And I'm going to move the water a little lower. So yes, you can also make modifications here. And let's say I'm making my boat that much bigger. So yeah, so this is probably the biggest the boat can be. Any bigger, it's going to get hit near the top of the paper. Don't do that. You need a lot of gap here. Otherwise, it won't look nice. It'll look like the boat is hitting the top. So I will redraw this and I'll move this down. But just to give you an idea of the boat, I'm drawing this and I'm showing you. So if you want landscape, this is how your picture will look. Okay, if you want portrait, you can draw it like this. So the boat can be even bigger and it can be a different story. I'll let you guys choose what you want to do. Does that work? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So how many of you are choosing landscape? How many of you are choosing portrait? For landscape, raise your hands. Okay, I have Ishant who wants to do landscape. Either Naveen or Naren, I don't know who wants to do landscape. Okay, all right. If you guys are going to do landscape, then follow this drawing. I'm going to leave my portrait drawing here on the side. I'm going to redraw the landscape. Okay, so you guys can see everything at the same time. Oh, don't draw the boat, please. Please don't draw the boat right now. Remember, we're going to draw the boat later. So don't draw the boat, leave the boat, only draw the clouds and the waves. For those of you who are late, we are going to paint the background completely first. And on top of that, we will draw the boat. The boat is only for size, and you need to only make indications for the cloud. Don't worry about getting an exact drawing. This is not about trying to be exact. It's just waves and a cloud. So waves also, I'm only going to ballpark the wave here. So the waves don't have to be perfect. Change the direction of the waves just a bit slightly. I'm matching this closely to the picture.
So should I start drawing?
Yeah, you can start drawing. If you're doing landscape, give me a second. Enna Pranav? Okay, so that's the waves and that's the clouds. Draw only the cloud and the waves. You can also bring the clouds closer. I'm gonna. Okay, imagine the boat is not there. Okay, so those are the two things you need. We're going to do the same thing for the landscape. Okay, I'm just going to keep talking, so just listen. Okay. All right, as you guys are drawing, I want to talk about the color families today and how the color was chosen for this picture. I'm bringing out my color wheel. So if you look at it, the sky kind of starts in this red, violet, and red zone. There's not a lot of orange. It looks like orange, but it is actually red, violet, and red mixed with a lot of white. Okay, so it's still not even red. I would still say it's only red violet, because when you add red violet and white, it'll give you that sky color. Okay, they're still in this space, and then they went up to the blue and they stopped at the blue. So they've only used, between blue and red violet, they've used these four colors, and they've used a lot of white. Okay, and for the sky and the boat's sails, they've used a little bit of yellow orange. It's not yellow, it's not orange, it is yellow orange, again mixed with a lot of white. Okay, so can you tell me what this kind of triangle, it's actually here, it's called a split complementary. I'm gonna move it and show you guys. So yellow orange, and you can see yellow orange, and they picked this triad. They've picked the triad. I would say triad, but there's not a lot of blue green. They've actually not used a lot of blue green. So they've stuck to this kind of a pose triangle where they've picked the yellow, orange, red, violet, and the blue. So they've stuck to this triangle alone. Okay. And that is completely fine. So this is slightly different from all the pictures we've done previously. The color here has a theory. The colors have been picked for a reason. So if you see the yellow orange mixed with a lot of white, that's the color of the sail. Okay, that's why I said it's yellow orange. It's not yellow and it's not orange. So we're in this area, this family. And then again, the violets and the blues are all here. There's no blue green at all. So we won't be using blue green. Okay, so that's the color that's used today. Any questions on the colors? Okay, all right. Anyone still drawing? All right. Let's take a look at all the colors we'll be using today. We're going to be using the violet. You will need a lot of white, so keep a lot of white handy. And then we're going to use magenta. Magenta is the violet and red mixed. So make sure you have magenta. I'm trying to search for my magenta. I think that's the only color I don't have. Oh, I do actually have it here. It's crimson red. It's not called magenta. Okay, so it's crimson red. So that's the color. And I'm going to be using Russian blue, not phthalo blue. They are very close colors. Phthalo blue is a green mixed blue. So don't use the green mixed blue. We are only using full blue today. We need a lighter version of the blue. So I'm using cobalt blue for that. Okay. And just to mix some of these colors, I might use orange and yellow. I'm using regular orange or scarlet red. You can use orange or scarlet red, any of these colors. We'll use just a tiny bit to mix them with these. Remember, this is the top of the triangle. So we will be using these. Every time you use orange, remember to use yellow so that you get in this mid yellow orange range. Don't use these two colors on their own. You have to mix them up. So if you use one drop of orange, you will use one drop of yellow at the same time so that you get in this yellow orange range. Okay. So that's why I have both of these colors, but this is just to mix things up. But these are the primary colors we are using today. Any questions? Okay, I'll give you guys a minute to get them all lined up. And I'm going to use a little rose for some of the highlights that come in the water. So this one also I will be using. Again, rose is pink. Pink is still in this red violet range. So it's already a pre-mixed color, so you can use that one too. So the rose and this lighter blue are also in the same family. So instead of mixing it with white and me getting the color, this is just already pre-mixed. So I'm just using these two. Okay, so there we go. Pink, magenta, purple or violet, Prussian blue, cobalt blue, and then a little bit of orange and yellow as we need it. Okay, so those are the colors. And remember, white, we need lots of white today.
I don't have orange, yellow, and pink.
Okay, if you have crimson or magenta or any kind of red, you can mix the pink. That's fine. Do you have yellow ochre?
I have lemon yellow.
Do you have any shade of orange?
I have like the burnt sienna.
Burnt sienna is dark brown. You don't have yellow ochre. Kana yellow ochre looks like this.
Let me check. Yeah, I have yellow ochre.
Okay, you can use that one. Okay, mix it with a little bit of red. It should give you that orange range. And yellow ochre has yellow in it. So if with red, you can get the orange. Okay. So yeah, if you don't have the yellow and orange, that's fine. And we won't use a lot. Okay, so if you have yellow ochre, that's good. Anybody else needs any color switches? Okay. All right, let's get started, guys. The first thing we are going to do is we're going to mix the sky color. We'll do the sky. We'll do them again one layer at a time. The bottommost layer is the sky. The clouds come on top of the sky. So we will do the sky and then we'll do the clouds. On top of the clouds, we have the ocean. So the ocean is the last thing you're doing. I'm layering them and I will be painting them in order. So one goes on top of the other and then on top of the other. Okay. So again, today is all about layering. First, we will need the violet and we're going to need the red. We're going to be using the violet and the crimson red mixed with white. I'm going to try and keep my color choices simple. So if you want, you can use violet and pink. If you want, you can use violet and red. Anything is fine. Let me change my battery. And I've got my red here. It's crimson red. So crimson automatically it has a little bit of blue in it. Yes.
One question, what kind of shade of yellow is it?
It's mid yellow, Ma. If you have the Arteza palette, it's mid yellow. Don't use lemon yellow.
Oh, I think
If you have orange
this is
yellow, that's
the
even better. You can use orange yellow.
this is the only one I have.
It's lemon yellow.
No. It's
What
not
yellow does it say it is?
I think it's naples yellow. I
Don't
can't
cross them.
clearly read it.
Keep them away from each other, see? Sorry, when you mix them away from each other. Okay, and then I'm going to have a big dollop of white in the middle. Or you can have white next to each of those colors. Anything also works. Okay. Oh, and let me talk about brushes. I'm using 2 different brushes today. For the clouds, I'm going to use this round brush. So it has like a round texture, a round shape to it. It's called a filbert. If you don't have this brush, just use your regular thin brush, that's fine. It's just easier if you have this shape. If you don't have that shape, that's okay. For the rest of the painting, I'm just going to use a flat brush. Every time it's the sky, flat brushes are faster, so use a flat brush. Okay, and again, any size. If it's smaller, it'll just take you longer. If it's a very flat white brush, then it's just going to be faster to paint. That's the only difference. That's okay. I'm going to start mixing the colors. I'm going to test the colors and then only I'm going to start painting. Okay. So I want a darker purple. So mix less white, more purple. So I'm taking only half of my white and I'm mixing it with my purple. So my purple is slightly darker. There we go. That's a good color. Okay. Yeah. All right. So slightly, this is the shade of my purple, slightly darker shade of purple. I'm not trying to match completely to my picture. That picture has a little bit of blue. It has a little bit of black in it. We're not going to mix exact shades. I'm going to mix my own shades. So try and match mine if you can. I'm trying to keep it simple. I'm not mixing 4 or 5 colors to get the exact shade in our reference picture. If your brush becomes dry like this, remember to touch the water with the tip of your brush. Don't dunk it. Just the tip of your brush is enough. The dry brush will go away and you will be able to paint smoothly. So only when you see these, can you see these kind of dry spots? When that happens, you can dip your brush in the water just lightly to take that away. That's all. Okay. And this is the part where you have to be slightly quick. So paint as much as possible. And then for the last step, touch your brush to the water. You don't have to wash it. I'm only going to add plain water here on my last part where I have to blend the 2 colors. We will do this again one more time when we're bringing in the next color. The 2 colors will blend only if they're wet. So I'm just wetting my wetting my purple at the bottom so it will blend with my next color as I bring it in. Can you see I have a wet place here? So touch water and then just wet that spot. Okay. So now to mix the next color, if you have crimson, go with the crimson. If you have pink, go with the pink. If you're mixing pink, use less white. If you're mixing crimson, go with more white. That's the only difference between using the two colors. Okay, I'm gonna go with the pink. It's already pre-mixed. So remember, less white. Just touch the corner with white, that's enough. Pink is nothing but pre-mixed red and white. Okay, and you should have a wet purple. And then when you paint, the wet purple will blend with that pink. As much as the blend happens, it's more than enough.
What if you have the pink and the red?
Enema, say that again.
The red and the pink.
Yeah, choose one.
Okay.
Choose one. And it's okay to paint on top of the clouds, paint on top of the clouds. We are doing layers, so we will end up painting on top of the pink. So don't worry about painting on top of the clouds. If you're using red, just add more white. That's all. All right, so I'm just going to talk about the next colors because the clouds are different, okay? Yeah. All right, the next color is nothing but red. Red mixed with a little bit of yellow orange. So you'll need a little bit of yellow and a little bit of orange. Remember that. So we're using a little bit of both. And we're going to add a touch of red. The reason why we are adding a touch of red is because we want the skies to be darker than the sails in front. Because if you look at the sails are almost the same color family as the sky. It's that yellow orange range only. But we're going to add more white for the sails so it comes up, and we want to make the skies darker to push it back. Okay, so that's why we're adding a touch of red. Don't use this much red. I'm going to show you how much I'm going to mix. It's actually only these two colors mixed mainly with a touch of red to make it a little darker. Okay, so tiny bit of orange. How much ever orange you have, use the same amount of yellow. So you're in the orange yellow family. Mix it with white and a touch of red. Anirudh, for you, you'll use yellow ochre as the same amount I have here and then add a touch of red and white. Okay, so again, use the same amount of white. So all these three things are equal parts. Okay, white, yellow, and orange are all equal parts. And I'm only touching my red. Okay, can you see that much? Just a touch of red. That's enough. Those are the three colors I'm mixing for the sky. And it's slightly darker. It has to be darker. If you want, you can add more white, but don't make it very light like peach. Don't make it as light as peach. You want to still be in this mid-tone family. Okay, so that's the color we want. That's the color we're going for. And now you're going to layer this on top of the pink. Okay, so first start painting the curves like this. Paint the curves first, like that. And then you can fill the rest of the clouds. Follow that shape first. Okay, that's why we're layering. And this is easier with that round brush. And I actually, if you see, I forgot to switch to my brush. I'm still using my flat. You can use it with any brush. You just want to curve the brush as you're painting to follow that curve. That's it. Okay. So this is my first layer for the clouds. For the next layer, I'm with the same orange, I'm adding a touch of white. Can you see I'm picking up the corner of white here? That's all. So touch of white, mix it up, and then do the next layer below. So the clouds will slowly get lighter and lighter as they go towards the water. That's what we're doing. Increase as you do one layer at a time. You're going to add that little bit of white. Can you see? So dark orange, then tiny bit of white. So that'll keep going. We'll just keep adding that white with this orange. All right. Okay, now that's my second layer of clouds. I'm going to add another touch of white. Can you see? Another touch of white. For my next layer. And keep that shape. Keep that shape. It's okay if it doesn't blend. Okay, I have to remix all these colors. So I'm going to remix them again. Equal parts orange and yellow with white. Okay. With a touch of red, that's my first mix. All right, with a touch of red. That's the first orange I mixed. Then I added 2 layers of white. So after this color, I'll add white twice. Okay. And then I'm going to be doing the third layer. So I'll add the third layer of white. So I'm going to add white 3 times to this mixture. That's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so I'm starting with my base shade. And then only I'm adding whites in incremental quantities. Then I'm going to be painting below right there. And again, you can paint on top of the wave. Don't worry about that. Incrementally add white. So finally, you'll have this really light orange at the bottom. Like this. So from the dark orange to the light orange. I'm only adding white for this. Okay? So that's how I'm doing the clouds. I'm gonna leave this in the corner and repaint it. So you guys can see the clouds are slightly confusing if you haven't paid attention. So I'm gonna repaint it, okay? But I have my painted version here at the bottom. Okay, I'm gonna paint these clouds again. So remember, I'm starting with this mixture. I'll say it again, equal parts orange and yellow with equal part white with a touch of red. That's all. Mix it up, that's your starting color. And then you're going to paint that in curves. So I'm taking my brush and I'm painting that curve of that cloud. It will be dark. It is meant to be a dark color, so we can have a light sail on top. Okay, so paint this in curves like that. Okay, that's my first layer of clouds. Now to this same mixture, I'm going to incrementally add a little bit of white every single time I'm going to paint the next layer. So just have a dollop of white here. Pick up a little bit of white with the corner of your brush like this. Can you see? And then mix it up with the corner of the orange. So it'll become a little lighter. And then paint your next layer. Again, paint in curves. We're still following that shape. Like that. Now for the next layer, add a little bit more white. Still paint in curves. For the last layer, add more white. You can keep going. You can keep going until you hit even the same white color. So there's no end to adding those layers. So however big your brush is, you can choose how to do these layers and how many layers you want to have. Okay, so don't worry about how much you go as long as you hit some version of this orange at the bottom, that's more than enough. So can you see? Just layers again, incrementally adding white to that same orange we started with, yellow orange. There's two versions of the same cloud.
Auntie,
Mm-hmm.
so I ran out of white. So can I show you my?
Yes, Arnav. Arnav, we're going to need more white today. The only color you cannot run out of. Okay, that actually looks really good. It's good. It's really nice. It came out really well. But you're going to need white.
I'll just
You
use
don't.
modeling paste.
Okay, all right. If modeling paste is lightening it for you, then yeah. But bulk up on white. Okay, guys. I always have white. This is actually extra white Auntie got. You can buy any brand. Basic brands come with giant tubes that are $4. Go with that or pick up as many white as you can. White is the only color you cannot run out of. Most paintings depend on it. Okay, but yeah, Arnav, since you know how to work with the modeling paste, go for it. Yeah, you can use that. If anybody else wants to share their progress with me, let me know. I'll be happy to see it. Don't wash your brush. Guys, don't wash your brush for every time you move to the blower orange. Don't wash the brush. You don't need to wash the brush. They're all orange. They're just progressively lighter oranges. So you don't have to wash your brush for it. I'm going to give you guys a solid 10 minutes to finish this. So take your time and finish. Auntie's just going to go on mute. We will start at the water step at the top of the hour. Okay. You
Can
have
I show you my progress?
Yes, you can. Yeah. Go. This is just your progress, right? You're going to have more orange coming down.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You definitely need more orange. You need a large piece like this. But yeah, progressively go down. You need to get to this light, Ishant. Okay, the orange at the top is a little darker than I expected, but that is fine. But increasingly add white and get to this lighter shade. Okay, that is what is going to look really nice. Yeah, it's coming out really well. I like the layers you are adding. So that's a good job. Keep going. Okay, so let's do the next one. The next one is Prussian blue. I'm going
Can
to
I
be...
show you my progress?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Go ahead. Nice work. Look at that. Good job. Take a dry brush, Ishant. When I say dry brush, wash your brush completely and take a towel and wipe it off. Then take that dry brush and blend that orange in the middle there. This part of the orange for you is a little wet. So just take that brush and then just brush it over and just blend those colors.
Ma'am.
Yeah.
I have to leave.
Okay.
So can you send the recording?
Yeah, I'll send the recording.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. All right. So for the next color we're going to use is Prussian blue. For the Prussian blue, I'm mixing this only with white, and I'm going to be painting the Prussian blue on one half of my water. Okay, so in this case, the dark of the water is in this side, the light of the water is this side. Okay, so Prussian blue and white will go here. We are mixing white just for the sake of it. Okay, this alone will be too dark, so that's why we're mixing a little bit of white, just a touch of white for this. And then you can mix more white, and then like we did the orange, you can do from dark blue to light blue on this side. Okay, I think that will be the easiest instead of going for a lighter blue also. So if you want to, if you have lighter blue, you can use that, but it gets confusing when I use too many colors. So I'm going to stick with this. So this one, mix a little white and start here, mix layers of white like we did for the orange and finish off in this corner. Okay, so I'm going to do for this. So watch me. It's easier to watch me do it first than to try everything on your own along with me. So watch me first and then you can start yours. Okay. So here's my blue. I'm going to pick a little white, just a touch of white, not a lot. Okay. And then my blue, I'm going to mix them up together. I'm starting with the darker blue. Okay. So that blue. And then it's layered on top. So wherever you have all these pieces of orange, that's fine. You're just going to layer it on top. Okay, in this case, follow the direction of the wave when you're painting. The wave goes from the top to the bottom like this. Okay, like that. So that's the direction you're going to be painting in. Okay. And then I'm going to do another piece of the same blue before I start adding incremental quantities of white. Okay, so now to this blue, I'm going to keep adding white.
Oh, Auntie.
Yeah.
So my water spilled. Can I have a bit more time?
Yes. Take your time. I know accidents happen. So that's why I said do slowly, take your time. and keep your space organized. Okay, don't keep the water where your hand is going to hit it. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so there's my water. This part of the water is done. All right, so I'm going to leave this right there at the top, and I'm going to do the bottom water of this portrait picture. I'm just doing it twice so that you guys can see it in both ways. All right. And I'm only repeating same concepts again and again. So again, I don't want to confuse you, too many instructions. Simple, same instructions, just repeated. Paint with the direction of the wave. Okay, so there's my water. So this is the top one and the bottom one. Again, I'm going to give you guys a nice solid 20 minutes or 15 minutes, depending upon how long it takes for you guys. I don't think it'll take too long. But yeah, take the time you need, and then we'll go to the next step. Yeah, nice work. Look at that. That came out beautiful. Good job. All right, Arnav and Naren, are you guys done? Do you need more time?
I need more time. My paint's still.
I'm done.
Okay, all right. Arnav, how much are you done? 40, 50%, 60%?
40%.
Ooh, okay, all right. But I think this next step you will be able to catch up. So finish it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to show them the next step. They're just going to draw the boat. Okay, all right, guys. If this top part of your wave is still wet, then let it dry. Give it about 5 minutes. You can take like a cardboard or something and just fan it a little bit. It is acrylic paint, so they will dry quickly. So give it about 5 minutes for that to dry. If it is very, very wet, then take a dry brush, which means wash the brush completely, wipe it completely dry, and then just blend the paint out so it's not like a thick dollop of paint there, and that will also dry it faster. Okay, so I'm just taking this empty brush and just go over that paint like that. Just spread out that paint so it's spread and thin so it dries faster. Okay, so 2 steps to make your paint dry faster. After you're done with it, take a pencil and you're going to draw your boat. I'm going to try and make this boat a little bigger so you guys can see the boat itself. Okay. Okay. It's not very hard to draw the boat, and you're going to draw the boat on the wave. So it's okay to touch the wave there and again layer it. We will be adding those white foam on top. So at that part, we will kind of hide the bottom of the boat as well. So go ahead and draw the boat on that wave. So the little part of it is touching that bottom of the wave, okay? I'm going up to this end. And then at the top, I'm going to make a pointy end, and then I'm going to turn and make a curve. Okay, so that's how I'm drawing the boat. Keep it really simple except for this pointy tip. Once I finish drawing, I'll show you exactly how I did that, okay? And then this is the bottom, and you can see the bottom is going to actually sit on my wave. Okay, so like that. And then I have my, what do you call this, my railing on one side here, and then my other railing here. Okay, that's my railing. And then I have the base, the cabin inside, and then the top of the cabin. Okay. And you can erase, because the orange will be dry by now. You can, if you make mistakes with your pencil, you can go ahead and erase with your eraser, make portholes, and then maybe a doorway here. Okay, and then comes the pole. The pole will go all the way to the top. So the pole, draw with a ruler. So it's nice and straight. And then around the pole, you can draw your sail. Okay, so that's my board. I know it's not very clear. I'm going to actually use a darker pencil or even a Sharpie. You guys, please don't use a Sharpie. I'm using that Sharpie so you can see what I'm drawing. It is not meant to be Sharpied, okay? Actually, I have a brown color. I'm going to check if this brown color will work. Yeah, this is better. Nice work. That looks good. Okay. All right. I'll give again another 5-10 minutes to finish. So you guys have enough time to draw. If you're going to make any changes, or if you need to make it a little darker anywhere, do it. If you have mistakes, erase it out. And then we'll start painting. We're going to be using this nice small brush so we can get into all these small parts. Okay. All right. I'll give you guys 5-10 minutes to finish this.
Hello?
Yeah, Arnav. Yeah. Can you? Your video is not on. Okay, nice job. That came out really well. I didn't think that you would manage that with modeling paste, but you seem to have pulled it off. Okay. Yeah, I know. Anybody's, I know you're going to start drawing, but start with the boat base, Arnav. That's going to be the most important. You can get away with freestyling the way sails. Okay, go ahead. That detail is going to be the most important. Anybody else still drawing? Okay, if not, then let's start with the colors. You're going to need Prussian blue again. This time I'm going to use the Prussian blue without mixing any white. Okay, that is going to be my starting color for the boat itself. All right, so don't mix any white, just directly use the Prussian blue for the boat's base. That's the part where it's touching the water. About half of that boat, we're going to color this dark color, because below that we're going to have foam as well. So we want a nice chunk of that boat's base to be seen. We will hide half of this blue with the foam. So because of that, we want enough of the blue there so we can hide it. Okay, so half of the boat is this. Okay, I have a quick question. Does everyone have phthalo blue? Who doesn't have phthalo blue?
Me?
Okay. So do you have light blue, Naren?
I'll just show you.
Okay.
This is the blue I have.
Prussian blue, no, cerulean blue, ultramarine blue.
Yeah, it's ultramarine blue.
Okay, add a tiny bit of green, any green, like a dot of green, okay? And you'll have to add white to it. I'm looking for that tiny bit of green shade. I tried adding white and blue, guys. I'm getting the same watercolor again. I don't want this watercolor again. So that's why I'm adding a little bit of that green. Remember, we are still in the same family. Remember the triad that I talked about, blue-green? That's what we're trying to mix in now. We're mixing a little bit of blue-green to add it to this cabin here and to add some highlights on the water so the blue looks slightly different. And don't add too much green. So just a tiny touch of green is enough. Mix it with white. You're going to get this shade of blue that looks
Can
like
I
turquoise. You can use
use phthalo blue?
Yeah, phthalo blue mixed with white will give you that color automatically because phthalo blue is nothing but blue-green. And I'm painting this around the porthole, okay? Just take your time. That blue alone will look tiny bit different. That's what I want. I want it to look a little different. That's why we're using phthalo blue. If you don't have phthalo blue, just mix any blue with a tiny touch of green. Okay, so can you see that blue alone looks a little different? That's what I want. So that way we can differentiate the cabin with the water and everything. And if you're like me and you made some mistakes on top of the portholes, see half of my portholes are swallowed up by my color on top. That's fine. Just repaint it with that dark blue. Again, layers. So acrylic paints layers really well. So if you just fix your mistake with the color on top, it'll go away. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to use the same blue for the pole at the top. So I'm going to turn it around so it's easier for me to paint. Going upside down right now. That's all. So the same blue. The pole is thicker at the bottom and thinner as I go to the top. Okay. So there's that. And I'll give you guys a few minutes to catch up.
Yes, after.
Can I show you my progress?
Nice. Okay. The cabin is all one color, that's fine. Let it dry completely. You can change that color if you want later. If it's very dark, you can make portholes with white. Okay? Yeah, and let it dry. Let it dry. Don't overwork that same spot. Let everything dry around it before you go to the next step. And if you are not able to catch up now with me during the painting process, that's fine. Let it dry. You can catch up with the video. Just watch those steps as I'm doing them. Don't hurry yourself. Take your time. So it's okay if you leave a few steps. You can catch up from the video later. You can see I'm repainting my white so it looks nice and white. So just the railings and the white, just repainting. I'm giving a second coat of white so the white is nice and bright. So these are all things you can do after class. All right. Anybody still need time? Or can I go to the next step? Okay, next step. For the next step, I'm going to be using 90% white and we're going to be using a touch of this orange. You should have this orange lying around somewhere, so I have it here. If you don't have that orange, that's okay. Open your orange like this. Take the tip of your brush, just squeeze, and then just pick one small piece of that orange like that. Okay, so that's all you need. Do that for yellow and orange, so you have that yellow orange mix, and you're going to mix it with 90% white. So it's just lots of white with just that touch of orange. That's all. So you can see I have a dollop of white, and then I'm just picking up this mixture. Can you see that much? Just that much. And then mix it with the white. So you just need more white than any other color. It look like a very white peach. Okay, so that's the color I'm going for. And you just have to paint your sail. The sail is that color. Keeping the mixes all simple. We are not trying to mimic the picture. The photograph is very, the reference is more advanced. That is not possible for us. So I'm keeping all these color choices and color mixes very, very simple. So 2 or 3 colors only we are mixing. Okay, I want to keep it simple. Okay. And then people who are feeling adventurous, you can do half the sail in this peach color and the half, bottom half, or any part of that sail, you can keep it only white. So if you want to and you want to experiment, you can do that too. Okay, so I'll show you what that looks like. So just white, no color mixes here, only white. So the top is peach and then the bottom is white. That's all. So it'll just make that picture look a little bit more interesting. Okay. So do the same thing for the other sail. You're taking the same peach on top and white at the bottom.
Auntie.
Yes.
So I'm really behind and my paint is still dry.
Yeah, that's because of the modeling paste. Modeling paste, thick paints that don't dry as quickly. So that's fine. You can stop, or if you want to, you can leave. You can catch up with the video. At this point, their only details are enough. There's no technique. So just color mixes and finish up. So you should be able to catch up later.
Can I show you what I have?
Yeah. Oh, nice work. It looks good. I like the layers of the clouds where I can see the depth. That's a nice thing to add, and at your advanced level, that's a really good piece to add. So yeah, like that, keep adding things to your painting because I am trying to keep it simple for the rest of the class, but that looks really nice. Okay, but yeah, you can catch up with the video later.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye, Auntie. See you.
Bye. Bye. Yep. So I'm just using the same white at the bottom for this one also, just pure white with no mixing. All right, like that. Auntie's corners are all not straight. I'm going to spend some time straightening those out. Please use that time and finish up your sails also. And pay attention to those edges. So don't leave them. Can you see these? This one is jagged for me. It needs to be straight. Okay.
Can I show you my progress?
Yeah. Nice work. What happened to that line in the middle? What's that white line?
It's the one on the pit.
Oh, okay. All right. I haven't come to that part yet. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so there's my sail. Okay, now we can concentrate on adding details. If you want to add the flag on the top, you can. It's just a red flag. So I'm going to copy that red color and I'm just going to add a flag. Okay. All right, so there's the boat. Oh, we're almost done. We're only going to work on the details. So for the details, I only want you guys to put down your brush and watch what I'm doing because this has to be done with a thin brush and it's going to take you guys time to do it. I will give you 30 minutes at the end to finish those details. Don't do it along with me. Watch me do everything. Then you can work on it one at a time. They're very easy, but they have to be done very carefully with a thin brush and they have to be done slowly. That is the key here. All right, so don't do it with me. Please watch me do it and then you can do it on your own. All right, the first, all the details that I'm going to be mixing, I'm going to be mixing mostly white and I'm going to be mixing with them with random colors. So those colors I'll tell you. So for the water, first I'm going to be mixing them with that blue green, the turquoise green that I told you. So I'll be mixing that for the details. Some parts of it are pink. So I'm going to use pink and white for that. Then the clouds, I'm going to be using a little bit of yellow and a tiny touch of orange for the details on the clouds. And then for the swishes and the curves around the board, I'm going to be only using white. So these are the main colors I'm going to be using, and I'm just doing details, right? And it has to be done slowly with a thin brush. Let's start with the bottom. I'm going to be using white and phthalo blue, remember, or blue and green. If you have phthalo blue, use phthalo blue. If you don't have phthalo blue, just use blue and a little bit of green. I have phthalo blue, so I'm going to use a little bit of phthalo blue with white. Everything is white 90%. Okay, can you see I'm mixing this color? And I'm just creating a pattern here. So this one is quite simple. So there's one pattern, and then I have one streak coming here, and then this streak here. So all of that is with this phthalo blue white mixture. I'm doing it directly with my brush. If you're not confident with using your brush directly, do the shapes with the pencil, and then you can paint it inside with the brush. That's why I said don't paint these steps along with me. You can do them once I stop. I want you to see first. Okay, so that's just a single streak there. And then now here, I'm going to first add a curve to show this is a wave. And the top of this wave goes like that. Okay, so there's that. And then I have one streak here. That is this blue. Okay, so that's all the blues I have. The next color I'm mixing is going to be pink. So just white and this rose color I have here. Again, 90% white. With a tiny touch of that rose. It'll give you that nice shade of pink. Okay, I've got a nice baby pink. If you want darker, you can mix more pink, but I'm going with that baby pink shade. And then I'm creating more of these streaks. Again, I'm doing them directly with my paintbrush. You guys, if you want to draw it out first. Okay, so that's all the details on my water with colors. Now comes white. Same details with the white. Just plain white, and it's going to be mostly around this wave here to show the splash of water. Okay, so this one, I'm going to draw the outline first. I know I'm going, it looks like I'm going fast, but I'm just showing you all the steps. They are just the same steps repeated. So I'm just showing you those steps. And then I'm going to stop here and I'll give you guys time to do this part. So you can see I'm creating these bumps on that blue. Okay. All right, just white here. So no other color except white. Okay, and then a few drops, few dots here and there. You can create these splashes to show that the water just is splashing on the boat and around it. Okay, not as many as you want, because the water will splash in a way in lots of different directions. It's going to be a huge splash. So you can show as much or as little as you want. Okay. And this is where I'm going to stop this detail. I'm going to stop right here so you guys can work on some of this and show me if you need feedback. Okay, so this is where I'm going to stop this step. So I've added all the details for the water. And it's with a small thin brush. Take your time and do it slowly. Don't be in a hurry. Small brushes are very tricky to handle. That's why I said put your brushes down, watch me do it first. Then I'll give you enough time to work on them and then you can continue after. Just retouching that white to make it nice and bright. Any section that you think is transparent or needs another coat, remember you can paint that again. So don't just stick to one layer of paint. Sometimes certain parts need more layers of paint, so they look really nice. So that can happen. If that happens, paint it again. So the sail, for example, I think it needs a second coat, so I'm just painting it again. All whites, I always paint my whites 2 times, so it looks nice and bright and white. All right, guys, I'm just giving you time to work on whatever you can work on. So if you're working on only the blue details, these light blue details, work on only them. The pink is the same thing, just in a different spot. Okay, so work on whatever details you can. And the white, those are the three things I've added for the ocean. So whatever is possible, do it. And I've kept my strokes all very simple. Okay, so certain parts are thicker, certain parts are thinner. That's the only thing you need to follow. Everything else is the same. All right, once you're done with that, then we can move on. I'm going to stop talking for another 10-15 minutes, and then I'll show you the last detail. We have the last detail for the cloud. We'll do outlines for the clouds. So I'm going to show you that, and then we're going to do the birds. They're just white again, like we did the foam, the water foam here. So the water splash. So exactly like that, we'll do the sky. Okay, add a few birds, add a few strokes around the boat, and we are done. So the last two details we have, I'll show you in 15 minutes.
What do I do if I'm done?
If Naren is also done, then I'll show you the next step. Okay, but otherwise just wait, let it dry. We don't have a lot of time. We'll finish in
I'm
5-10
almost done.
already drawed the birds.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, yeah. It's okay. I'm going one step at a time, Ishant. It's okay if you skip ahead of me. That's fine. Okay. So now here is the only thing we need to know how to mix. The detail for the cloud is going to be 90% white again. But this time we're going to lean a little bit more on yellow. Okay. Because if we do the peach color again, it will look like the sail. So to not do the same color as that peach, we're going to do more yellow and we'll touch a little bit of white. Okay, so I'm going to show you that mixture alone. So where's my white? My white is here. So I'm going to do it right there. My palette is dry. So can you see I have white right there in the middle? I'm going to pick up yellow. Any yellow, I'm using this mid yellow or cadmium yellow. Again, a little more yellow like that. Okay, about 20% of yellow. And we're going to only touch this orange. This orange is like just coming in to say hello. That much is enough. Okay, we don't want to be completely yellow. That's why we are adding that little bit of orange. You're going to go for this color, this shade. It'll be more yellow than orange. Okay, so that's the shade. So let me paint it and show you. The minute I put it on the cloud, you'll see, and we're going to do the cloud outline at the top. Can you see that is more yellow? Let me give you a close up. Can you see that's more yellow than the peach we have closer? That's the yellow I want. So mix nice white and yellow, just a touch of orange, just to say orange still lives in that same family. And then we're going to give the outline. Okay, so that's the first detail on that cloud. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, and also you have to do in the middle here between the boat. Okay, so you can do that 2 more times. I'm just going to add one more version of the cloud here and maybe one here. So same way on this side. So one at the middle and then one at the bottom. So mixing that color again, white and yellow with a touch of orange. Just a touch. Remember, orange is here to say just hello.
Do I have to do this to all of them, or can I do it to some of them?
You can do it to some of them. There's no rhyme or reason where Auntie's done it. So yeah, you can do it to some of them, not all of them. I'm just retouching those spots. I'm not doing anything else.
Can I show you my progress?
Yeah, yeah. Nice work. Nice job. Okay, so I didn't realize I got cut off. There we go. Okay, and then now all the rest of the details are just in white. The birds and then the swishes around the boat. That's all. Okay, so it's just going to be plain white, just getting added everywhere. And if you guys are done, you're welcome to leave. I'll post the video tonight. Okay, so I'm going to start with the bird. We have a couple of swishes around just to show there's wind.
I'm done.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Auntie,
Mm-hmm.
the yellow about the like on the clouds. Do I have to do that?
With the light colors on the clouds?
Yeah.
You can
Oh, not like
if you're
for
not
all of them, do
comfortable
I have to
doing
do
them,
that?
that's fine, Naren. Some of these details you have to take your time to do it. So that's why these were all the last things I showed you. So yes, if you don't want to do them, that's fine. You don't have to do them. There's the more details you add, the complex the picture will look. So it will look like, you put a little bit more effort into it. That's all. So that is again completely up to you. It's not easy, so I'll leave that up to you. Do as many details as you can. That's enough. Okay, so can you see how the more details I add, my picture looks like, oh wow, they've done so much, right? But that's all they are, the details. The details is what matters. The details is what brings the picture together. All right, but yeah, go for as many as or as little as you can. And I'm just adding a few dots of stars here. So like that, add as many details as you can. It brings the picture together. You can add a moon there if you want. So yeah, small things matter. But yes, that's it. That's all we have today. I will see you next week.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Bye-bye.
No.
Just adding a few streaks of white on my water because the foam is not going to be only at the top. You're going to see some foam forming on the water surface also. So you want to add a couple of streaks of white here and there to show there's foam. The sea foam in all these parts. Okay, I've added a white line here and I've added 2 white lines here to show that those are the strings with which the sails have been tied. Again, I'm adding only details at this point. There's a white pole at the bottom. So I'm just going to extend that pole and just leave it white in the corner there. It doesn't have to show underneath the sail, just that detail there is enough. Again, I'm going to clean up the edges here. There's a line to show the wave is going this way. So just details at this point.